legend is that the Levinsons, and there's a book which supposedly documents this, the Levinsons got to Germany in 1493, so supposedly the Levinsons before that were from Spain. We don't know where, but as you go back further and further, it eventually goes back to Israel. The holidays are very important because that's what brings the family together a lot of the time. For Passover, that, I'm always excited every year because I go, my whole family is there, and you read the Haggadah, which is the story of when the Jews were freed from slavery in Egypt. And you read it every year, and it ends with next year in Jerusalem, L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. It's a tradition for the whole Jewish people, but it becomes a private tradition with each family because everyone does it a little differently. And it's funny because your whole life you do these holidays, every year, same time of year. After a while, it becomes, a well choreographed dance. So, for instance, on Pesach, on Passover, there's everyone takes turns reading. There's a line which says, Biyad chazaka uvitzra netiya, which means with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. It's how, the Jews were brought out of Egypt. But then I would look over at my mom and she would have her hand out with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. If you misbehave at the table, you'll find out about that. So, common Jewish culture. We sit around, we eat, we tell the same stories over and over. We argue and argue, and when you look at the different communities in the world, for the most part, they're doing the same thing. In New York, in Israel, it's people sitting around eating, talking, complaining, arguing, and it's a rich tradition. The biggest advantage is recognizing that other people have had a completely different experience. Even if you're from the same area in the United States or wherever in the world, other people have grown up differently or have different, they're of a different religion, different race or any of that. And you have to remember and respect that, there are these differences. And at Discovery, you have to work together. So it immediately breaks down any barrier. There's a song, Hatikva, which is the National Anthem of the State of Israel, and Hatikva means the hope, and that's very important. It's moving to hear it. Every time I hear it, it gives me chills. It's more than a song to me. I can't even put it into words, but to hear it, it's got a big place in my heart. And yeah. This is Brent Levinson with Disco Diversity.